This is Off the Ice, the Nanaimo Clippers hockey show on 106.9 The Wolf. With the latest news on the Clippers and the BCHL, here's Dan Marshall.
It's Off the Ice, the Clippers hockey show, final week of January. Boy, the season does not have much longer to go. 10 more games for the Nanaimo Clippers, and they're hot right now, up to 18th in the national rankings this week. And without a loss in their last 5 games, but without a win yesterday, and we'll talk about that because there was a lot of talking points in yesterday's rare tie, first one in a couple of years. We will talk to a couple of Nanaimo Clipper players in our second segment, newcomer Matt Kowalski and a recently returned from injury, DJ Petruzzelli. First, we want to give you some tickets, and you don't have many home games left to see, but we want to send you to one. You could see the Clippers this coming Friday, their only home game this week against Victoria. And Joe D, go to our Facebook page, answer this question. No multiple choice. I'm not feeling generous today.
Uh-oh.
So give us the question.
It's a difficult one. The Clippers play Alberni Valley on Wednesday. So in 6 meetings this season, how many wins do the Clippers have against the Bulldogs?
No safety net for you. I'll give you this hint. They're over 500 against Alberni Valley. So I'm giving you a good hint there.
There you go.
Over 500 against the Bulldogs. Let's bring in the head coach and general manager of the Clippers, Mike Vandekamp. And coach, I always feel, because there's not many ties in the BC Hockey League, when I get to the end of a tie, I feel immensely entertained and I'm okay to leave it. I felt that way back in the 2013-14 season, your last tie in West Kelowna, and I felt that way yesterday, even though, of course, you want to get that extra goal when you get 48 shots. Did you leave that game feeling it's a fitting way to end it, or would you have liked it to go to a shootout like the NHL does?
Well, I think you already know I don't like the shootout, so we've talked about that lots, but it was still kind of disappointing. You know, felt like we deserved to win the game, and, you know, we kind of let it slip away because we did have that 2-0 lead, and all the different factors that went into the game. So it's probably more of a feeling of being just a little bit disappointed with only getting 1 point instead of 2. But I'm okay with ties. Like I've always said that. I think there used to be a day when, you know, you'd go and have a hard-fought game with someone, especially if you were the road team, and if you got a tie, you'd feel pretty good about the day. And I'm not a big fan of the shootout particularly. And I think our format in our league solves most of the games. Obviously, like you said, it's been a couple of years since we've even had a tie, so it doesn't happen very often. And I think it was still a very entertaining game, even though it was only 2-2 on the scoreboard and nobody ended up winning it. It had a lot of entertainment to it, and I think the fans were treated to a good game.
I feel like the BCHL has the best overtime mechanism in a regular season. I've long believed that, and I wish the NHL would have gone to it. I understand the players don't want to play the extra time because it could be 10 minutes of overtime, but to me, the BCHL mechanism is the best one I've seen for a regular season tiebreaker.
Yeah, I agree. I certainly like it better than the shootout for sure. It's very entertaining, especially the 3-on-3 portion of it. 4-on-4 is, but 3-on-3 is even better. I mean, last night there was lots of scoring chances at both ends, and you see it in the NHL now too, how entertaining the 3-on-3 is. And the shootout, I'm just not a fan of it because it's not really a hockey. It's not really a hockey team. Hockey's a team game. It's the ultimate team game, and when you have an individual showdown, I don't think that's really the way to solve a team game. And I was talking with our goalie coach yesterday, Dave Lenevieux, after the game, actually, and he was talking to me about that. We were comparing notes on the pro game when he was obviously playing in the NHL and stuff, and, how he said sometimes he'd have a really, really good game, and the game ends up a tie, and then all of a sudden some guy comes down and makes a great move on you and scores in a shootout to win a game, and you end up leaving really disappointed. And yet you had a really good day. So, I know he wasn't really a big fan of the shootout either.
48 shots, and I really think, to me, I just look at that game and go, their goalie was phenomenal. It was one of those few performances in a season that a goalie has where he's almost unbeatable, and was after the first period of that game. But I asked Blake Clements yesterday, I said, do you dig a little deeper? And he said yes, but to me, I look at the chances you had and the execution that you had, and to me, you did enough to win, and their goaltender just stole them a point, is the way I looked at it.
I would agree with that. He was definitely the star of the game and the difference. I think we played well enough to win the game. But we were still a little bit disappointed. Like, it wasn't our best game. We didn't get to the net enough. I think we shot a lot. We didn't get to the net enough when we really needed to, especially get some traffic on the power play. Our power play was good. I mean, we moved the puck around. We did create some excellent chances. So, It's a tough pill to swallow, I think, because you always wish that you could have found a way to score that one more goal, especially if you're deserving of it. But he played great, so good for him. And, he's been one of the best players, best goaltenders in our league for a while, and, a big reason why that team's had a lot of success. And they needed something to take home with them in that road trip because they'd struggled in the first couple games, and he stepped up for his team and did a great job. So, I guess we just have to take it for what it is. And, if it was a playoff game, you'd still be pounding away at it trying to win the game and, in overtime, and hopefully we would have found a way to score.
Your goalie was picked the second star in the game, and let's not forget that you gave up 31 shots, and he had to make a number of big saves as well. You can talk a lot about their goalie, but your goalie, sometimes when the other goalie's making big saves like that, you end up getting something to go in at the other end. You end up taking away a loss from that game, but Evan Johnson was really good as well.
I thought Evan Johnson was good in both games that he played this weekend, both Saturday night in Cowichan and on Sunday afternoon. He played great. We've been talking about wanting him to get more consistent. Obviously, that's what we've been shooting for, and we've met with him about that too. And hopefully this is the start of something, because he was as consistent as he could be for the 6 periods that he played this weekend, plus overtime, and he did his job for us. And I think what really happened in the game was, our power play was unable to score on those chances in the first, and a lot of that did come down to goaltending. And then, we didn't make very many mistakes. They didn't get a ton of chances, but they found a way to score one, and it was one of those classic, you let them hang around long enough and something can happen. And I thought the third period we took some silly penalties. I think that's what really hurt our team, and I think some of those came from frustration. And we didn't really talk about it too much yesterday with the guys, but we're going to certainly address it this week a little bit. Just, in those types of games, I think we could have showed a little bit more maturity and been able to just keep pounding away and realize what's actually happening here is we're playing pretty well, and the other team's goaltender's standing on his head. And don't get frustrated and take a dumb penalty because you're just mad about something or whatever. And I thought that took the wind out of our sails a little bit. And then ultimately they did tie the game on a power play goal in the third. And, it ended up being a bit of a difference for us.
You'll have to forgive me because January has been the busiest month of the season. By the time the schedule is over, it'll be 13 games in 31 days. And I can't remember which day on the road trip that you and I talked about this. And you made the quote that you're a believer that it's not the team that scores the most goals that wins. It's the team that prevents the most goals, that has the fewest goals against, that wins. And I go back to Coquitlam, 2 goals against. Surrey, 1 goal against. 2 goals against in your last 2 games as well. And I think that's a magic number to have playoff success and indeed regular season success as well. Your defensive game has been really good over this 5-game streak where you haven't lost.
Absolutely. And it was after we left Wenatchee that we talked with the guys again about trying to get that attitude back in our team where, we are the team that's focused on letting in the least goals, playing better defensively, and recognizing that is how you win hockey games. And it's not just defensive play. It's not just D-zone play. A lot of people focus on that all the time, is how a team plays in their defensive zone. But there's a lot more to it. It's about the forecheck. It's about your systems and structure. And probably most importantly, it's about managing the puck and not turning over pucks in silly places. And I think, we've buckled down since that game in Wenatchee, and we've played a lot better. And we talked openly again with our guys about wanting to keep it under 3. It's 3 or less, and certainly under 3 is the goal. And we don't have a lot of games left. This weekend flew by again. We had 13. Now all of a sudden we only have 10. So there's not a lot of time left to keep working on our game before they really start to count in March.
The next 3 games are against teams that you will almost certainly play in the first round of the playoffs. It's either going to be Victoria or Alberni Valley, and if it was to start today, it would be Victoria. Do games against teams that are potential first-round opponents with 10 games now to go, do those mean a little bit more in terms of getting that mental edge for the postseason?
Possibly. I would say they do. I don't think it's the end-all and be-all. It's a brand-new season when the playoffs start, but if you can have an edge on a team a little bit, I think it helps, and especially in both rinks. Like this weekend, we play Victoria both here and there, so I think if we can play well in both rinks, it's a little bit of a confidence booster. And with today's athletes, it probably means more than it used to even. I just think our guys are a little bit emotional that way. When they feel good about themselves and they have confidence, they play better. And so we don't want them having any doubts. And we want to have a winning record against every team in our division. That's something that we've talked about all season long. So these 2 teams are no different, and they're playing well. I mean, both those teams are always tough to play against for us. This whole division has been very competitive all year, and even though we put ourselves at the top of the division, I think, sometimes that comes with higher expectations. But there's no question that, there's been very, very difficult games with Victoria and Port Alberni all year long, and there always is. So it's going to be a fun and challenging week for our team again this week.
You are officially in the playoffs, and I had to double check because you were joking with me yesterday that you were waiting to see that big X beside your team in the VCHL standings, and it's not officially there yet, but based on the tiebreakers, you cannot be caught in wins by the Bulldogs, so you've clinched a playoff spot. And I have to say I was a little bit taken because I talked to you about it and talked to some of the players about it, and it was one of those stats that I think for you and for the players was somewhat meaningless because the guys seem so focused on a division title, but you have to get to the point where you clinch a spot before you can talk about clinching a title, and now you've done that.
Well, I guess it's something interesting to talk about, but I think we expected to be here, bottom line, right? I mean, we've had a good enough season where, we've been focused on getting home ice advantage. We've been focused on trying to finish first in the regular season. We've talked to the guys a lot about how much that benefited us last year in that playoff run with those Game 7s in the first 2 rounds and being able to have those games in our rink. And so really that's been the focus. Once we knew we were a good enough hockey team and we started to build confidence there around that, 15th, 20th game, we started to turn the corner and play a lot better. I think our sights were set on, obviously the top end of our division. And, we're not done with that yet. We've got some very difficult games ahead with Cowichan and Powell River and our whole division. Really, every game that we play now is against our own division except for the game that we play against the top team in the entire league against Penticton. So 9 difficult divisional games and then 1 with the top team in the league. So you can't have a better 10-game stretch to finish the season. And we want to try to finish on top, and making the playoffs was something that we more or less expected to do. And, we're going to try to obviously set our sights a lot higher here moving forward.
We chatted last week about DJ Petruzzelli coming back into Nanaimo and waiting for him to play his first game. Do you have any idea, even in pencil, when that could be?
Well, he has to play 5 games as an affiliate player before he's allowed to come up and play with us, so that rule's in place. So he played his first game yesterday with the Bucks. I didn't watch the game. I was out of town, but it apparently went well. He felt really good. Said his timing wasn't great, and conditioning a little bit, and that's normal when you miss a couple of months, but said the injury felt fine, so that's good, and he's going to practice, even ramp up practices a little bit more between both the teams here this week and continue to play those games with the Bucks, and then once he gets those games done, we can at least look at having him into lineup, but until he completes those games, we can't even bring him in.
You've got your A lineup together right now, I think, up front. Is that the group moving forward that you'd like to see? Last year, we got so used to the lines that we saw in the playoffs, and that's how we remember last year's team. And to me, there's something that feels right about your current forward configuration. And again, touch wood, barring injury, you have to be pretty happy with what you see from that group. I think you've got a mix of everything with your forwards right now.
Yeah, we like the chemistry that's there and the different looks of each of the lines, too. I think that's a good thing. So it's definitely the template that we like best right now. So hopefully, we can stay healthy, and we have a little bit of an injury there from yesterday too with Chris Dodaro, and every game there's always a little something that takes it away from you. But hopefully we can stay healthy and let these guys build as much chemistry as we can. But we certainly like the lineup the way that it looks right now for sure. And it took a while to get to this point, and we even had to get through the trade deadline. Obviously, picking up Gavin on the deadline that added a different dynamic to the team too. So, now we're going to have to work hard in these last 10 games to try to hopefully get some continuity in that lineup and be able to allow the guys to play together every night like that and just build as much chemistry as we can. But it's definitely the best looking lineup that we've had so far this year, and we're getting results with it as well.
I think of myself as kind of a wuss. I think you've been around me on the road. You'd probably agree with that. Chris Dodaro getting that high stick and coming back and playing. And I think he had 2 different face cages on to try and get through the game and figure out the best way to do it. But that shows a lot of toughness when you have to be in an immense amount of pain.
Well, first of all, I agree with you on the wuss statement, Dan. And, I mean that. I mean that with all due respect. But with Chris, yeah, I mean, I've never personally carried a guy's tooth back to him, but I got to do that yesterday.
And you ran down the hallway.
Well, yeah, I wanted to bring a haste. I thought maybe I could put it back in for him too, right? But no, I don't know what I was in. Well, I was trying to get down there and back fast so I didn't miss any game, basically, was what was big hurry, but got down there, and it was an ugly injury, and it was really unfortunate. I mean, the guy was trying to swing for a puck, missed it, and just smashed him right in the face with his stick, and did some teeth damage to him. But you know what he did? He showed a lot of toughness. He came back with that face mask on and did the best that he could to try to play. And those are tough injuries. Obviously, you can imagine what it feels like to have your teeth broken and the whole bottom part of your mouth there. So it was kind of messy, but he did show a lot of guts and determination to come back and finish the game. And he'll probably need even a couple days off. I know he spent some time in the old dentist there today, so he'll be feeling it for the next couple of days, and we'll see if even Wednesday, it's coming real quick here. So hopefully he's okay and can continue to play. But he showed a lot of toughness yesterday, that's for sure.
Coach, appreciate the time. We'll chat again on Wednesday.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
He is the head coach and general manager of the Nanaimo Clippers. I'll give him credit. He didn't call me a wuss. He went out of his way not to. But he was all too quick to agree. We're going to talk to a couple of the Nanaimo Clippers, Matt Kowalski and DJ Petruzzelli, scheduled to join us next. Off the ice, the Clippers hockey show, our second segment. DJ Petruzzelli, Matt Kowalski here to join me, and I can tell Matt Kowalski's really nervous about this whole trivia angle that we're going to get to, because I'm giving him no hints. The prize is covered up even in the corner, so no hints whatsoever as to what's going to happen with trivia. We'll get there momentarily. We'll start. DJ Petruzzelli, it's great to see you back, joining the guys on the bus last week. I had no idea. It was, I think November the 13th was the date against Alberni Valley, and you're in front of the net, and I watched you go down, and I thought next shift he's going to be back, he's going to be fine. It didn't look to me like anything really weird happened, but all of a sudden you end up away from the team and you've gone home. So explain what happened on that fateful night, Friday the 13th, by the way, in November, when you got injured.
Yeah, well, I was coming through the middle looking to take a shot and got the shot through, and my leg was kind of hung out to the side a bit and kind of got hit from behind a little. And I don't know, it was just one of those weird, really awkward plays where, like, it doesn't look like anything's wrong, and it must have caught a rut or something, and it all went wrong. So, yeah, it's been good. I went home to rehab, got an MRI the first week I was back, and ended up with a dislocated kneecap and a couple torn ligaments in there, but I got into rehab right away. I was in a brace for 6 weeks doing physical therapy, and my legs come along nicely, and it's good to be back.
Sean Buchanan did it last year, where he was a part of two teams and tried to get as much junior reaction in as possible. Troy McTavish did it at the start of this year. Now that you're back, and I know you played yesterday, we'll talk about that in a moment, but how much are you planning to be with each team that you're a part of now, the Buccaneers and the Clippers, ultimately ending up with the Clippers, I know is where you want to be once the playoffs roll around?
Yeah, obviously right now it's good to be with the Bucks. I feel I fit in nicely there, and I have a good program, good coaches, and it's good to be back on my skates. And then obviously I want to build up to try to be back with the Clips come playoff time.
A big game for the Buccaneers yesterday, a 23-game winning streak for the Victoria Cougars, and you and that team go down there, break the streak, win 1-0. Talk about that Junior B game. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, it was a really big win. Going in there, we knew we were short guys, and they're a really good team. So I don't know, we just went for it and ended up getting lucky in the end in overtime there. Our goalie played a great game, and it was just a great team win.
Are you going to be having any 2 practices per days coming up in the next little while here with both teams?
I think I'm starting tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see how my body responds, but I'm looking forward to it.
Would you say that your body's 100% right now? Is it 90%? You've had a chance to play in game action, so where would you rate it?
I'm probably at about 85 to 90% right now. The legs feel a little slow. Obviously, 2 months off, really no skating, not a lot of mobility, but overall I feel pretty good, and just trying to listen to my body and take things as they go.
Since you've left, the Clippers have just kept the ball rolling. First place right now by 10 points, clinching a playoff spot yesterday. Do you get any different perspective on the group and on the team when you're away from it for a while?
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit. Obviously, you miss the guys, and you're obviously happy when they're successful, but you miss that a little too. Obviously, you want to be a part of things. But I think we have an awesome team this year. It's a great group of guys, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds for us.
Matt Kowalski, your first appearance on the Clippers Hockey Show. First of all, welcome.
Thank you.
And don't worry, trivia will come, and you'll do great. But DJ's a fierce competitor. But let's find out some more about you. The Clippers knew that you were a top-end player at the midget level, and your coach at the BC Major Midget League, Jason Williamson, kept raving about you. Your name kept coming up over and over as a guy that was maybe going to be a future Clipper, but you ended up being a Clipper, I think, sooner than anyone thought. But take us through your hockey background up and until coming to the Okanagan Rockets Major Midget team.
Like, my hockey background is in, like, being younger and all that?
Yeah, some of the teams that you played for along the way to get to where you are now.
Okay, so I started when I was 4, and I was just young, played some novice. I was actually a goalie back then. And then my parents said, pads are pretty expensive, so we're going to try to throw you in to play player. And I liked it a lot more, played Adam and Vernon all the way up till second year Bantam. And then Vernon was pretty good to me, had some good friends and just some good years with those guys. And then I went to Pursuit of Excellence for my U15 year as a first-year midget, and we had quite a tight group there, and probably one of the best years I've had in my life being there. Just, you're with the guys all the time there, and you spend every breathing moment with them. It was a great experience, and it really got me ready for this year. All the training and just on the ice every single day for like 3 hours a day. It was a lot of fun. And then this year started with the Rockets, and it went by really fast, honestly. I didn't think that I'd end up here, but things worked out, school worked out, so I decided to make the jump, and the year was going good, so I thought that I would be ready to come.
School considerations, I know for you and your family, were really big. Mike Vandekamp said you're one of the best student athletes in terms of the academic side that he's ever come across. So talk about the importance of school for you, because I know it wasn't just a slam dunk, let's go to Nanaimo and let's do this. It was, no, we have to have the school considerations in here too.
Yeah, school came first. The hockey was going well and everything, but we had to get down to all the classes, trying to get them organized. And if they didn't work out, I wouldn't have been able to come. My parents always enforced school comes before hockey. And I think that now I enforce it on myself that school has to come first. Sometimes you got to take a little bit of a break from hockey and catch up when you get behind, because things get busy here especially. And they did a really good job, Mike and the counselor, Zed. He really got all my courses organized for me, so school worked, hockey worked, here I am.
What's the biggest change so far? You go from being a top-end player on your midget team to now being a guy that's in a totally different role in the BC Hockey League. And you talked about how fast the year has gone, and that has to be a change that goes by so quickly as well. That do you have to reinvent your game a little bit when you make that change?
Oh, yeah, everybody's a bit bigger and a bit faster, a bit stronger, so got to keep your head up a little bit more around here for sure. And everyone's meaner around here too. Instead of using their stick to try to defend themselves, just drop the gloves here and there. And it's a little bit intimidating at first, but I think it's been going well, and I got a good team behind me to stand up for me if something were to go wrong.
A lot of times the guy will get his first goal and it'll go off somebody else's butt on one of the defenders or something like that. Your first goal was top corner, taking a cross-ice pass. That had to do a lot for the confidence, getting that first goal against the Bulldogs like that.
Yeah, it felt really good. It was a great pass from Abel, and basically spoon-fed me that one. So I was pretty happy about that. And it feels good to actually get your first goal, not just have it bounce off you, of course.
DJ probably hasn't heard this story, but I'm going to tell it right now. We were having dinner on the way to Wenatchee, and the subject of the dinner comes up, and somebody says, Kowalski doesn't eat steak. And the coaches are going, what, are you kidding me? He doesn't eat steak. That's probably the favorite dinner of every other guy on the team. Certainly the coaches were sitting somewhere on the way to Wenatchee having steak, and Matt Kowalski's having none of it. So what's this not liking steak business?
I just am not a fan. I've always found it bland and chewy, and just I think that Benny doesn't like steak as well, so I'm not the only guy on the team who doesn't like it, but just not a big fan, so usually I'll resort to some kind of chicken or fish.
The coaches were quite taken aback by this whole non-steak thing, but I thought I'd pass that story along because it had everybody laughing at the coaches' table anyway before that last road trip. Looking down the final 10 games of the season, do you have any goals in mind for points that you'd like to get, number of games that you'd like to get in here through the final 10 games of the regular season?
Well, I just want to do my part and get in as many as I can, of course. I just want to see 10 wins from the team, though, is what matters.
I appreciate that. And now we're going to play a game, boys. It's called Superhero Trivia.
Oh, gosh.
Superhero trivia. It's DJ Petruzzelli against Matt Kowalski. It is a best of 7. I'm going to get you to each grab a bell. Superheroes are the topic. Superheroes are all the rage right now. DJ, first of all, are you into superheroes?
Not really, but I've seen a few of the movies and read a few of the books, so should be all right.
That's good. Matt, are you into superheroes at all?
Not a huge fan, but I've seen a couple of the movies lately. They've been pretty good.
All right, let's begin superhero trivia. First person to hit their call bell will get to answer, and there are no steals in this game. If we need a tiebreaker at the end, we might do steelsies, but I just said steelsies. I can't believe it. But until then, yeah, I know. Until then, no steelsies here. Okay, here we go. Question number 1. What is the name of Spider-Man's aunt? Or Peter Parker's aunt, if you want to look at it that way. And these guys are both
I have
not
no
sure.
idea.
In 3, 2, shot clock. Joe, do you know?
What was the question?
Joe, pay
His
attention.
ants?
His aunt.
Oh,
Spider-Man's aunt.
I thought you said ants. It's like, I don't know. Spider-Man had ants. No, I do not know.
It's
the
Aunt
answer.
May. Aunt May, Spider-Man's aunt. Both guys 0 for 1. This one's a lot easier. Question number 2. Who is Batman's sidekick? Oh, that was pretty much a tie. Tie goes to the veteran, though. Sorry, Matt.
Robin.
Robin is correct. 1-0 Petruzzelli. So, Kowalski, next tie goes to you. But that was almost a perfect tie. Tie goes to the veteran that time. 1-0 DJ. What substance is Superman allergic to? Matt Kowalski.
That'll be kryptonite.
Kryptonite is correct. It's a 1-1 tie. Petruzzelli v. Kowalski. Question number 4. What item does Wonder Woman use to make people tell the truth? What item does she use to make people tell the truth? Guys don't look like they know. You can guess, yeah. DJ.
A wand.
A wand is not correct. Matt, you don't get to steal. There's no stealsies, remember, said that. Magic lasso. Ties people up in the lasso, and then they're compelled to tell the truth.
I was just going to say her beauty, honestly.
That would have been a good guess as well, and yet still wrong. Question number 5. Which superhero protects Gotham? Matt Kowalski.
Is that Batman?
Batman is correct. 2-1 Kowalski. He pulls into the lead. Who is the actor in the movies that plays Iron Man? Matt Kowalski.
Oh, I forgot his name now. Robert Downey Jr.
And that is correct. Last question. What is the favorite weapon? What is the favorite weapon of Thor? Oh, that was the tie, but I'm giving Matt. I said I'd give Kowalski the last tie.
I get the tie?
You get the, because I gave DJ the first one. I said you get the next one.
Okay,
That was pretty close.
It's a hammer.
It is a hammer. Congratulations. You have won the Thor hammer. Only he that is worthy can lift it. And obviously, you are worthy. Yes. 4-1 win for Kowalski over Petruzzelli. But Petruzzelli is still on the IR a little bit when it comes to the Clippers, so we'll give him benefit of the doubt on that one. Guys, thank you both for playing. Joe D, we're giving away some tickets. Give us the trivia answer on our winner.
Yes. Well, the Clippers, of course, play Alberni Valley on Wednesday. So we asked, how many wins do they have against the Bulldogs with 6 meetings this season? Congrats to Felipe. He was a little sneaky. Instead of posting the answer right on our Facebook page, he sent us a message.
That's the way to do it. Don't give it away to everybody else.
The correct answer, of course, is 4.
4 wins, 2 losses so far. So it's Game 7, and not the same as a playoff Game 7, but Game 7 of the regular season series. On behalf of Joe, this is Dan. So long from Off the Ice.
You've been listening to Off the Ice, the Clippers Hockey Show. Join us again next Monday night at 7 on Nanaimo's Rock, 106.9 The Wolf.